have a nice small group, which is nice. It'll be more of an intimate conversation. How's everybody today? Good. I think I got to talk to all of you guys at the booth before. I know I have Isabella over here. This talk is about caring for your body post-baby and beyond. So although I'm specifically talking to new moms here, these are things that really could apply to anybody. So I'm Tara. I'm from Tara Allen Health, and I am a nurse. I am a certified nutritionist, a certified personal trainer, and health coach as well. But really, my most important role here is being a mom. So you guys might see my daughter here and my son. They're running around. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. And I have to say that I was always into health, I was always into fitness, but once I had them, that's when everything changed for me. So that's when I realized that I wanted to step up my health game and really look into what was most important for them and for improving their health, making sure I'm feeding them the right kind of things. So I don't know if you guys feel the same, but it definitely changed everything for me. So I'm going to be saving a couple of minutes at the end for questions and answers, so definitely save your questions if you have any. I will say for the 2 men in the room that we are going to be talking about 1 or 2 things that might be a little uncomfortable, like breast engorgement or something. But it's nothing too bad, so you should be okay. So let's start with nutrition.
We can close the door.
You know, I just want to...
People are coming in.
Yeah, I want to let people come in for a few more minutes, and then we can close the door. Sure. So, okay, so let's start with nutrition. There are 6 essential nutrients that we need to take in every day. And these are essential because our body can't make them. So they are water, protein, fat, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. So these are the things that we need to make sure that we're getting on a daily basis. So let's start with water. We all know that our bodies are mostly made up of water. Okay, it's actually about 70% usually, depending on how hydrated you are at any point. You're drinking water right now, it's perfect. I will say, I'm the first one to admit that I'm not great with water. My husband's in the back taking pictures. He has to remind me, this is not a strong suit of mine. So I definitely want to let you guys know it's something I'm working towards, and I have a few tricks that might help. Think about squeezing lemon into your water. Think about filling your water bottles up for the day so you make sure you get in enough. So this way you know that you got through 2 water bottles and maybe you need to get through 2 more for the day. So a lot of people like to line up their bottles, have pretty little colors, and then they know that they've gotten through their water for the day. A good rule of thumb to think about how much you need is to take your body weight in pounds and divide it in 2. And that's about how many ounces you should be drinking. So if you weigh 150 pounds, divide that by 2, you should be taking in about 75 ounces of water a day. So does your morning cup of coffee count for your water? No, because that actually dehydrates you because of the caffeine. But does a glass of seltzer count? Yeah, I would say so. You should still try to aim for mostly pure water to take in, but certainly do decaf herbal tea, do seltzer, do anything that's going to make you get to that goal, whatever that goal is for you. A few instances where you'd have to be mindful of taking in some more if you're breastfeeding, if it's hot out and you're sweating extra, and if you're exercising, you definitely need to take it above that notch a little bit. So the next essential nutrient would be proteins. So proteins break down into amino acids, and they're the building blocks of nearly everything in our body, all of our tissue. It does a lot of repair. It builds your blood cells. Bless you. Bless you. You guys can't see this, but this is the cutest little baby sneezing up here. So protein is very important. You might have heard of it being something really good if you're trying to lose weight. There's a reason for this. Protein actually takes more of your calories to digest itself because it's really harder to break down. So when you take something that's full of protein, you're actually burning a lot of the calories right up front just to assimilate that into your body. So that's why you hear of that being a really good fat and weight loss macronutrient. So the next one is fats. Everybody is scared of fats. People have started to eat just the egg whites, and that's a big problem. Luckily, the research that has come out recently is letting us know that fat is back. So the egg yolks are back. We should be eating them. We need fat in order to assimilate all of the vitamins into our body. There are some vitamins that are fat soluble, so without the fat, you actually can't even absorb those vitamins. As well as every single cell needs the fat for the structure of the cell and for the cushioning. So the myth from like the 70s and 80s was that the more fat you eat, the more cholesterol you'll have. And that's not true. What has been proven now is that it's actually the more inflammation that you have in your body, that is what actually causes your cholesterol to raise. So it's not necessarily tied to what you take in as cholesterol. So you want to decrease inflammation. We're going to be getting into that a bit. The next macronutrient is carbs, so carbohydrates. This is a hot topic now. There's a lot of people that want to do low carb, no carb, ketogenic diets and things like that. I will say that I think that there's a place for these types of diets for different things. That's not what we're talking about today. Carbohydrates are needed for energy. So what are things that are carbs? Cake and sugar, those are carbs. And bread and pasta and rice, those are carbs. But also spinach and an apple, those are all carbs too. So anything that's not a protein and that's not a fat actually falls under carbohydrates. So we need that. So do we need bread with every meal? No. But should we be eating lots and lots and lots of vegetables? Yes. These are called non-starchy vegetables. So all your leafy greens, your different colored bell peppers, your onions, all this stuff that brings in fiber. So if you remember back in the 80s when they came out with the food pyramid, the bottom part that said we should be getting 6 to 11 servings a day was carbohydrates in the form of, they had a cereal box on it and loaves of bread. Okay, that's not good, and thankfully they've changed that a bit, and now they have something called My Plate, which is a bit better. So it's actually, if you go onto the government website, it's myplate.gov, and it'll show you a picture of a plate with a breakdown of what should be, how much should be vegetables, how much should be your starch. It has a little spot for dairy, thank you, as well. So I'm not saying that's perfect. I think that's flawed a bit, but it's much better than where we were coming from with the 6 to 11. I do not recommend anyone eat 6 to 11 servings of bread or cereal from a box a day. And then we come to vitamins and minerals. So this actually goes off of what type of carbs should you be eating. Lots and lots of colorful vegetables. Half of your plate should be filled with vegetables, all different colors throughout the day. This way you're getting a nice wide variety of the different micronutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that you need every day. So then what's a calorie? So where do calories come in, right? So a calorie is actually just a unit of measure that they heat up a food in a lab and they measure how much energy is given off by that food. And so it tells you this is the potential energy that you will get if you eat that food. But that's just a potential, okay? So it doesn't tell us how it's actually going to react in our bodies. It doesn't tell us if we're ever going to be able to use up all of that energy. So that's why I think calorie counting is not for me. It's not what I tell my clients that they should be doing. A possible exception would be if you have no idea if you're eating 500 calories a day or 5,000 and you kind of just need a baseline, then you might for a few days want to keep track and see where you're at just to see where you can go from there. But in general, I don't think people should be counting calories. It's too restrictive and it doesn't focus on the quality of what you're eating. It just focuses on the quantity. So like if you had a choice of 100 calories of Oreos or 200 calories of an avocado, I will always tell you yeah, I will always tell you to take 2 bags of the Oreos. No. Always the avocado, because that's what our body knows. That's what's food to us. An Oreo is not food. There's a new and extremely exciting, I'm such a geek, research area now called nutrigenomics. Has anyone ever heard of this? Nutrigenomics? Okay. It is pretty new, but there's tons of research that shows us that everything that we eat affects our genes. Okay, not just our cells and our hormones. It affects our genes. So this means, I have a co-host, I love this. This means that everything that we put into our body has the ability to flip on or off certain genes. So you could be predisposed to, let's say, diabetes. But if you live your life a certain way and eat a certain way, you may never get diabetes. And the same goes in reverse. You can do all the things that really aren't good for your body and then flip all those switches on and then you're going to end up with diabetes. So nutrigenomics is just a way of thinking about quality over quantity. That's where you should really be focusing, and think about everything that you're eating is either causing disease or it's causing health. So everything that you put into your mouth is causing disease or causing health. Okay, so by eating in this balanced way, you're going to be decreasing inflammation. You're going to be kind of stacking the deck in your favor. and you also stay satisfied. So I don't believe in yo-yo dieting. I don't believe in, you know, feeling starving or doing a juice cleanse or this fast or that. I don't think anything like that. It's not sustainable. Thank you. And it's not over the long term. So this is why 94% of people who go on a quick weight loss diet, they have a wedding coming up and they want to just do a crash diet, 94% of those people aren't successful. Some people are successful in the short term, but it doesn't last. So they almost always gain back their weight, sometimes more than that. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen The Biggest Loser. There's been a lot that shows now that those people that lost all that weight, a lot of them have gained back the weight, and some of them even more so, because they've ruined their metabolism. So what happens, let's say you go on this crash diet, your body says, oh no, we're in a famine, so I better lower my metabolism so I'm not burning off so much. So now you get really tired, you get really hungry, you get cranky, and this is your body's way of shutting down your metabolism, because it says, oh, you're only pulling in 1,200 calories a day, I gotta make sure I'm not burning all of that up. So you just get really sluggish. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long term. So actually, I have a little case study that I want to talk about my friend Mary here. It's not a real case. All right, so Mary's a 35-year-old first-time mom. She was very healthy pre-pregnancy. She was active, and she was at an average weight. Mary gained 50 pounds during her pregnancy. Can I help you? Let me open the door for you.
I got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Mary gained 50 pounds during her pregnancy. At about a year postpartum, her daughter stopped breastfeeding. So she said she was ready to get her body back, okay? She was 20 pounds up from her pregnancy weight at this point. She started cutting back her calories. She started at 1,400 calories a day. She realized it wasn't working quick enough for her, so she cut it back to 1,200 calories a day. She started doing the elliptical for 30 minutes a day. Then her daughter started sleeping more, and she brought it up to 45 minutes. She was moody. She was quick to snap at everybody. She was tired all the time and had cravings, okay? She went from 1 cup of coffee in the morning to 3 or 4 cups spread out throughout the day. And here's the kicker. She only lost 5 pounds in a couple of months of doing this. So then she was at a party one day, there was pizza there was cake, you guys know what happened, and she was off her diet, and that's it. So that was not Mary's first diet ever in her life, right, and it probably won't be her last. So this is the yo-yo dieting, but each time she does this, she's ruining her metabolism a little bit more and making it harder for her future self to be successful. So that's why it's about long-term success, long-term health. You should never be trying to lose more than, let's say, a pound of body fat a week, and even that could be a little bit aggressive, okay? So there's 3,500 calories in a pound, so you're talking about no more than a 500 calorie deficit per day. And again, that's kind of on the higher end. Most people that start a diet and lose tons of weight in the beginning, it's water weight that they're losing. It's not really true fat loss, okay? So let's get into fitness, because that obviously has a huge role in this too. So after you have a baby, there are some big hurdles that you have to go through that other people don't have to experience, okay? One is breast engorgement. If you're breastfeeding, or if you're not and your milk comes in and is taking a long time to go away, that's something to take in mind. Diastasis recti, has anyone heard of this before? It's diastasis recti, it's the separation of ab muscles. It's fairly common in pregnancy. I will tell you, it's completely painless. No pain at all associated with it, but it does happen fairly often, and there's a way that you can check to see if you had it. After you have a baby, you lay down on the floor, you kind of crunch up, and you look and you see if you can put your fingers, more than 2 of them, into the separation. Again, this doesn't hurt at all. I know it sounds like it would. And if you can do that, then that means that everything is bulging out a little bit. Your ab muscles just separated. It's normal. It's from the big belly that you had with the baby, and it will go back down. But you have to keep it in mind when you're working out. Otherwise, you can prolong the healing or make it actually a little bit worse first.
Is this common?
It's very common, yeah. It's, I would say 30 to 40% of women have this, at least to some extent. Some people have it like a smaller separation than others, but it's very common.
It's called
diastasis recti.
2 words?
Yes, 2 words. So diastasis,
Okay.
and then the second word is recti, because
Thank you.
your rectus abdominis. You're welcome.
Okay.
So that's just something to keep in mind when you're working out. You wouldn't want to have a baby and then start doing crunches right away if you don't know if you have the separation, because you're doing more damage. All right, incontinence. That's very common when you have a baby. That means that you could be leaking your urine a little bit, okay? So your pelvic floor muscles went through a lot when you have a baby, And so sometimes just bouncing around, laughing, sneezing, it's called stress incontinence. But that's something you would want to know before, let's say, you go for a run, because you might have to just have some preparations before you go. Body odor, this is a fun one to talk about that no one ever talks about. After you have a baby, especially if you're breastfeeding, your hormones are off and you have increased body odor. Just something to keep in mind. You may want to, that's when you might find that you're looking to switch up your deodorant or something like that. Sleep deprivation. Everyone knows after you have a baby, less sleep, right? You're at 11 weeks postpartum. How are you sleeping?
Fine now.
Good.
But
Okay.
the first 4 weeks was torture.
Torture. Okay, yes. It can be hard. Every baby is different, so you may find after a couple weeks the baby sleeps at night. You may be like me with a 13-month-old that nurses every hour still. Okay, that's not the norm, thankfully. But it's just something to keep in mind. You're not going to have the same energy. You may not want to put yourself in a situation where you're doing something that could be dangerous if you're sleep deprived. There's my little 13-month-old nursing fiend right here. No, not the big guy. Yes?
What about like melatonin or something? Like, can you take something to help you sleep when you can get back sleeping?
I don't recommend it, especially if you're breastfeeding. It is something that's natural, so it would definitely be better than doing something like Ambien or anything like that. But I actually have a whole thing about sleep here that I'm going to get to,
Okay.
just my tips. It's more about being creative and kind of sleeping when you can, so we'll get there.
Okay.
And one other thing to keep in mind is there's a hormone called relaxin. Relaxin is a hormone that is released when you're pregnant to kind of loosen up all your ligaments and get yourself ready for childbirth, but it hangs around for a long time after you deliver as well. So you may find that you're kind of over flexible and you can hurt yourself that way. So it's just something to keep in mind. Don't be doing some new, crazy yoga poses right after you have a baby. So what can fitness do for you though? It can promote fat loss. It can increase your cardiovascular fitness. It's good for your bones and your muscles. It builds the strength. And for your core and your pelvic floor muscles too. So this is an area that moms have to really be careful about and try to build back up again. So your core, like I said, your abs, everything was all stretched out. And pelvic floor are the muscles that you would do Kegel exercises with. So you know about Kegel exercises? Okay. That's if you are, pretend that you're, you don't have to do it right now, but pretend that you're urinating and you have to stop the flow of urine in the middle. And start again, and stop and start. So those muscles that you would use to stop and start the flow of urine would be considered doing Kegel exercises, and that helps to strengthen your pelvic floor back up after all the extra pressure it had when it was pregnant. So also, of course, it increases your energy, your mood, your confidence, all that stuff. So fitness is great. Fitness is really important. When should you start? Well, you should definitely wait for your practitioner to clear you and tell you that you're okay to go. Usually this is about 6 weeks after you deliver, if you deliver vaginally, and about 8 weeks post C-section, they'll tell you that you can start. And start slow. You want to start with walking. You want to start with maybe a little gentle stretching, some yoga, Pilates, but modify it. Make sure that you check for that diastasis recti before you start doing any kind of abdominal crunches or anything like that. As you can, it's a good idea to get into resistance training. So that could be with weights or that could be with your own body weight. But any kind of resistance training that's going to build your muscle is going to, let's see, muscle is the storage for anti-aging hormones. So you've got that going for you. And it also burns calories and fat when you're doing nothing. So if you put on muscle and you're going to sleep, you're going to be burning through tons more calories. So that is the single most effective way to get your body back after baby. So when can you do this exercise? Well, you have to be creative. So I think I was speaking with you actually when I said I started a baby wearing exercise class called Snugbook Fitness. And I started when my daughter, who's right back there, was a little one. And we would go to the gym. I wanted to go back to the gym so bad. My husband would drive with me, and he would park in the gym, and I would run in, and I'd have my phone, and he would text me 10, 15 minutes later, she needs you, and I'd pop back out. She would nurse all the time. So I was like, this is not working, and I can't have my husband come with me every time. So I actually started with her in, I think at that time I had a wrap, but here is my carrier, and I started working out with her in this, and that's when I realized, well, other people need this too. So this is something you can do at home. If you have a wrap, if you have a carrier, I highly recommend it for other things like cooking and typing emails or whatever, but definitely for working out too. And I actually want to grab my little guide now and show you a couple of quick exercises that you can do. Let me put this on first. Jenna, will you do this with me? Okay, buddy. I even put this on. You can exercise with the baby without any wraps or anything. So I'm going to do a quick squat, shoulder press. You can't see you smiling. Let me do it this way. Squat, shoulder press. Yay! And you could do a little tickle in between. You could do a little kiss. Mwah. Okay. And now, yay! Okay. So I'm just going to buckle him right in. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure you feel comfortable using this a few times before you do the workout. But okay, so good exercise. I'll go over here. You can do walking lunges. Yay!
And in heels.
Yeah, well, baby heels. Elbow to knee I like too. This is a good cardio one. So you just take one elbow and bring it to one knee. The babies love it. Actually, a lot of times the babies fall asleep in class. Yay! And then let's do some push-ups. So against the wall, make sure you don't hit their head. You can push up. Woo! Okay, you can also do dips on a chair or something like that. Is that fun? Let me give you back. Everybody. Thank you. Hi, sweetie. Thank you. Okay. All right, so with exercise, just to sum it up, when you're a new mom and you don't have a ton of time to do this either, you can use those tricks, but you want to go for the minimum effective dose. So that's the least amount of work that you can do to get the biggest amount of results. All right, so long, slow cardio is not going to do that for you. You're not building muscle. It's actually just an added stress to your body. So I don't recommend the cardio workouts for an hour or even 30 minutes, unless it's meditative to you. If you're a runner and you clear your mind by going for a run, then do it. But if you're just looking to get your body back or to get stronger, you got to do these short bursts of exercise. Look, I'm out of breath. I just did a couple of things here. So just short bursts of exercises that are working your major muscle groups and that are going to get you in shape in 10 minutes a day. It's really not, not too time consuming. So, okay, so let's talk about sleep. 4 weeks of colic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And trying to figure out what formula, because breastfeeding didn't work, what kind of formula, and then sleep schedule night into day was getting mixed up.
Okay.
All those kinds of things.
Hard.
Yes.
Did you feel like a zombie?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I would cook a steak and leave it in there, like in the oven, and not realize until the next day it was there.
That's scary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We need the sleep. We need so much sleep. And this is one area of the things I'm going to talk about. This is one area that you have a lot less control over than the other things that I'm talking about today. But I do have a few tips. As someone who's been there, done that, more than the health coach thing, more as a mom, I'm going to be talking to you guys. But ideally, we would get 7 to 8 hours every night. That's really ideal. And that's the time that our body detoxes itself overnight when we're sleeping. So this is kind of crazy, but our brain cells shrink up to 60% at nighttime to make more space for your body to detox itself. It's really that important to get the sleep. So what can you do? They say sleep when the baby's sleeping. So when you have your first child, that is a little bit easier. If you're home with them during maternity leave, for sure, take naps with them. It's very hard because you want to go up and do the dishes and you want to do everything that you have to take care of, but try to not let yourself do anything during their nap times but sleep, right? Then, of course, utilize the help of everybody else. Everybody wants to help. Take them up on it. So, if it's your spouse, if it's your parent, if it's a friend, whoever is there, let them come over so you can go take a little quick nap. Okay, that's really important, especially then if you're on to baby number 2 or 3 or however many after that, because now you can't sleep when the baby's sleeping because you've got somebody else to take care of. If you're flexible, if you're creative, and if you plan ahead for this, so it might be something that you want to schedule in. Your husband comes home at 7 o'clock and you're like, honey, from 7 to 8, I really just need to lay down. And if you just get it there and you schedule it and everybody's aware, you just have to really speak up and do that. My biggest tip probably, I think the only way that I'm up here talking to you and not like a mess on the floor with such little sleep for so long, is go to bed early. So I'm not saying I do it every night, but there's at least a couple of nights a week that I will go to bed when the kids go to bed. Because 9 hours of broken sleep is so much better than 6 or 7 hours of broken sleep. So that also comes down to planning your day. So if you're somebody who's working from home or if you have other things to do, you have to kind of be pretty organized throughout the day so that come 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever it is, you can get to bed because you know that the baby's going to be up by 9 or 10 ready for the first feeding, and it's just like that all night long. So you just have to work with that, and that's why your fitness and your nutrition and everything else is extra important at this time, because your sleep is going to be an area that is not going to be great for you in this point in your life. But it's a stage that doesn't last forever, so that's the good news. You have a question?
Oh, no, I was just thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Oh, good. I like people who do that. Think out loud. Okay, cool. So that actually brings me right into support. So it's so important. I love how you guys are all here with other people and you work. It's so important to have a support system during this time, okay? More important than any other time. I didn't think I was going to tell a story, but I will. So when I had each of my kids, I had a very serious disease while I was pregnant called hyperemesis gravidarum. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's pretty rare, so you might not have heard of it. I was very sick. I was vomiting and nauseous nonstop. I was on an IV. I had home care nurses, all of that. I think that everything happens to us for a reason. We're meant to get something out of everything that happens. And I couldn't, for the life of me, figure out what I was supposed to get out of this, especially when I had it with my son. And now I couldn't take care of my daughter. And I thought, what is going on? What is going on, you know? I'm pretty positive that it was the universe, God, or whoever you believe in's way of making me know it's okay and it's necessary to lean on other people in this time. Because I had to. I had no other choice. I had my mom, my mother-in-law helping to watch my daughter. My husband was doing everything. I had to be okay with the fact that he does dishes different than I do and his laundry is different. And I really had to be okay with that. I am very type A. I see some other nods of other people that know. And you just have to learn to lean on people during this time. This is the most important time to be okay with it, okay? It's very intense, but it's very short, and you'll be able to get back to yourself in your controlling ways eventually in the future anyway. So just lean on people. Another tip is, as much as you can, try to outsource things, okay? And if money is tight, it could be even in lieu of gifts that you give to each other. So instead of buying Christmas gifts for each other, maybe you put a little money in a babysitting fund, or maybe you try to get a grocery delivery system. You can hire a cleaning lady. It doesn't have to be every other week. It could be one time. But it's some time that's going to help you. Anything that's going to get your time back, you'll be able to sleep, bond with your baby, and all of that, it's worth it, right? It's probably better than a gift in the long run anyway. And seek out support. So if you seek out other moms that are in kind of the same stage that you are, they understand your struggles and they understand your joys probably more than anybody else. You can vent to them. You can lean on them for ideas and suggestions. So some places to do this is library classes. Most local libraries have very good programs for babies and children, all different age groups. So you have to sign up for those in advance usually. And there's a ton of Facebook groups. If you guys are all on Facebook, there's lots of local mom Facebook groups that, you know, you're up with the baby at 2 in the morning and you just want to send them a quick message. Is this normal? My baby just projectile vomited. I don't know what to do. So these shouldn't be used in lieu of reaching out to your pediatrician or anything, of course. But if you're just looking for some support or some preliminary answers, you can always do that. And I've done it many times. And I find when you think you're crazy and you go into one of those groups, you realize everybody's in the same boat. So it's really helpful to have that support system. All right, so if your nutrition and your fitness and your sleep and your support system are all on par, as much as you can get them to, then your stress is going to be a little bit more manageable, okay? But we all will still have stress. You need time alone, okay? So this is one of those things also you have to speak up. It could be 5 minutes in your car in your driveway listening to your favorite song, but whatever it is, you cannot be around a baby and by yourself and no adult interaction or no alone time all the time. So self-care is really important. Take a bath, read a book, go get your nails done, but speak up and tell whoever you can that you need to get out and get some time, because you're going to be able to show up more fully for your child if that's the case, okay? And now this talk is really about getting your body back post-baby, so I'll put it in those terms. If your stress hormones are through the roof, you're never going to get your body back. You're not going to be happy with your physique. You're not going to be happy with the way that you feel or anything. So this is actually really affecting you on a physical level too. You have to try to get your stress hormones down and relax. So self-care and some time alone, a coffee with a girlfriend, all those things go a really long way. Another important note is that you have to mirror this for your kids too. So if you want your kids to grow up and value their own health, it's not enough to just feed them the healthy foods, and it's not enough to just tell them that they should be valuing this. They have to watch you. So I'm at an interesting age with my daughter over there, who's 3, and she's not just repeating back what I'm saying, but I see her doing what I'm doing. So, you know, she was just over there, she saw people doing lunges and push-ups at my booth, and she gets down and starts doing lunges and push-ups too. It's part of her, it's ingrained in her, and I'm trying to keep going that way. But likewise, if you look in the mirror and you're kind of scrutinizing your body, you might not even say anything, but they'll see that look on your face and they'll know that you're kind of picking it apart. So you have to try to, they say be the change, right? You have to try to be the person that you want your children to grow up to be too. So, you know, learn to love your body exactly how it is right now, and then also try to make it healthy and strong in the meantime. So yeah, I guess that's the general message I was trying to give was to put your oxygen mask on first. So if you're on a plane and that oxygen mask drops down, they tell you to put it on first, and you think, well, why? I would want to give it to the person next to me, right, my loved one. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help somebody else without your own oxygen mask on first. So this is a time in your life that it is simultaneously the hardest time to think about yourself and your body and your health, and it's also the most important time to think about yourself and your body and your health. So just keeping that in mind, do the best that you can, okay, and don't beat yourself up. So if you have that pizza and that cake and all that stuff and you feel kind of gross afterwards, well, here's the good news. You're going to eat another meal in a couple more hours, and you have a chance to do it all better the next time. All right, so that's about it, guys. I'm ready to take questions if you have anything for me. Let me turn this off here.